So let's do a stream. Why not, right? So back on working on the mod. Since last time we talked, we've done a lot of designing. In fact, if I were to get on the server right now, we'd set up a multi-block structure for an oil rig. Kind of just laid it out with vanilla blocks as to what we want it to be. Done a lot of thinking about that though, but I don't think that's the best way for us to go right the moment in the mod. So what I'm going to do today, this morning, whatever, is to go into the world gen and change the world gen. So let's start with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is right now it's checking to see if it's in an ocean biome. So let's disable that. We're going to generate it in all biomes. We're going to be generating the oil. The next thing we want to do is we need to reduce the amount of world gen that we're going to have then, I think. So there's 20 chances to spawn per chunk. So let's take that down to like 15 just to give it a little bit more randomness, a little bit more, how do I want to say this, a little bit more distributed through the world. There's going to be more of it in the world because it's going to be in every biome. So let's reduce that by quite a bit. We might have to end up coming back and revisiting that and reducing it even more in the future. So that's the first change we're going to do. The next change we're going to do is we're going to go into Blender here and we're going to start modeling out a pump jack. If you haven't seen a pump jack, I'll try and grab a Google image here. Pump jack. It's basically those pumps that you see a lot in Texas, that it's just a teetering seesaw type device back and forth extracting oil from a well. And yeah, that's the thing I'm gonna try and model real quick. So let's get at it. So let's go over here into edit mode, subdivide this bad boy, grab it, pull it up above the plane there. Let's go to side view. Yeah, side view. And scroll up here. Get out of that mode so we can always see perspective turned off. So let's scale. I mean to subdivide it again. Let's scale vertically down. Oh, like this. And there we go. Let's actually grab this thing, pull it over this way, and scale this vertically yet again. And maybe scale in the y-axis here. I'll pull this down to about right there. That's a good start. Okay, so let's grab the top view. Wow, pretty wide, so let's get it scale it in the X direction as well. That's pretty good looking. And extrude, no, scale, reverse that. So let's get these faces on the top and extrude them up along that Z-axis. And let's actually kind of scale these in along the, not the Z-axis, so like this. So there's a little bit of a taper to it. Let's actually grab that. Let's actually grab that and pull that back down a bit. Make that taper a little bit more extreme. Not along the Z-axis, scaling in. Okay, and let's extrude straight up again. That's probably good right there. That will be kind of like the base that the rotating piece kind of runs on. And then let's extrude, scale that in severely, and extract straight up again. Hello viewers, if you're watching. Good morning, everyone. This is the I can't sleep at night stream, and I lay in bed thinking about the mod, so let's just mod instead of sleeping. Why not? Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm actually sitting kind of far away from my bike. Let me know if you can't. I've got my office chair I normally sit in broke on me about 2-3 days ago. So I'm sitting in a recliner, and that means I'm not sitting quite as close to my desk as I like to, which means my mic's pretty far away. But good news, today I'm actually going out to the warehouse for a company called Need for Seat, needforseat.com, and picking up my Nomadics, I think it's called, seat. It's the Dominator seat. It's like a race car type seat. I'm very excited about this. I want to sit in this seat so bad. It looks so comfortable. As a person that sits all day in a chair for work and then comes home and games and sits more, I want a chair I can sit in for a while without having a lot of pain. So this will be awesome. I think this will solve a lot of my back problems. Or at least I'm hoping. So let's grab another square here, or cube, I'm sorry. And let's scale this thing way down. And actually, I see there's a line here. Let's get rid of that edge. Not sure how that... Oh, that's the light. Okay. Back into this. Let's grab the linked vertices. Oop. Link. Come on. Work with me. There we go. And scale this thing down. I'm going to try and build the tube structure that is the pump jack stand. So like there's a stand here and it sits on this, and there's a back piece that comes off of it and a front piece that actually does the pumping, and then a piece that rotates over here. So we're going to build that stand right now. So let's grab this along the y-axis, set it down there. Let's duplicate that and just grab it along the y-axis again this way, making sure that we're on the same plane, which it looks like we are. And let's just grab the top of both of these. And it looks like we need to go to top view and grab those over a bit. X, linked, grab X. There we go. So now if we just grab the top planes only, or faces, and extrude straight up, scaling down. Perfect. And let's just grab these up some more. Scale them in some more. And how are we going to do this so they're not like tiny at the top? I want them to almost meet in the middle. So I'm going to grab this one forward. Let's see, let's move it negative 0.1, no, 0.2. There we go. And grabbing the Y, 0.2, positive. Okay, so now they're too far, too close together, so let's scale them back out. No, that's not going to work for us. Grab 0.1 Y, negative 0.01. Ooh. And then grab Y, 0.05. We're really close now, so let's scale them in. Okay, let's do it this way then. Let's just grab those two faces and scale them in the Y direction only. Perfect. Now you've got that triangle for the pump jack to stand on. And let's go back to face mode. Grab both of these, scale them up some more. Get the height we want now. I think I need to take this down. That's part of the problem. And let's go this mode. And Control Alt. There we go. Control Alt. Grab all these edges. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Let's go back to side view so we can get Paris in here. Pull them down some more. That ought to be good. Okay, let's get us a new... These parts won't move, so these will be the static objects. So let's name them static. Okay, and then let's create a new object. Add mesh cube. And let's see. Let's scale this on the z-axis first. Get that height we want. That ought to be good right there. You know what? Let's undo the scale. Let's go into the edit mode and do this. So scale vertically. Something like that. Yeah, and then scale on the x-axis. Yep. Top view. Let's grab this thing over top of here. Grab it up this way. Grab it this way. And I know I'm moving this thing up here right now. But that's more for just a reference point as far as how it should look. I'll be moving it again later to get it all centered in the object where I want it to rotate and all that. It's more just a comparison type thing. So grab this out on the y-axis. Something like that I'm thinking should be good. Bring that down. It looked kind of centered in it. But yeah, let's see. I'm going to test these sounds here real quick. I'm going to turn the sounds on so I can hear myself. It looked kind of centered in it. Yeah, I can hear myself good enough. Okay. Turn the sounds on so I can hear myself. Oops, I just turned my sounds on back on. That's weird. Center. Snap center. I might have to do it at the object level. I need to get the back end of this thing attached to the wheel. So I need a wheel. I'm going to need a curved structure out here. So let's try and do the curved structure next, I guess. Well, I'm not 100% certain how to do that in Blender. Let's try with the cylinder first. Okay, and we're going to rotate that along the y-axis like that. And let's pull this thing over here. Let's go into this mode where we can see everything all at once. And let's just delete all of these faces here. Our vertices. So that leaves us with a curved surface, right? Now we need to take edge mode, make a new face there. So we got a semicircle. And I think if we take that edge loop maybe, and do face, there we go. So if I'm just holding Alt and then pressing F, we've got a new face, so we've got a half circle. That half circle, or quarter circle, whatever it is, little sliver of a circle, let's call it that. Will need to be up here and aligned with the front of the pump jack. And that needs to be scaled down a bit. I think that's too big. Visually, it's too big. And align it this way as well. And scale it in the X direction so it's to size. And then align it again. Maybe like that. There's the front of our pump jack. I guess that these things are also called nodding donkeys. I didn't know that. Hello, Roberto. I'm working on a mod for Minecraft, and I'm just modeling out what it is I want to add to the game right now. So there we go. There's that piece. And then we're going to need that cable, right, that goes into the ground, that attaches to the pipe itself. So that's going to be its own object as well, I guess. Maybe we can do that with just a very small cylinder. So we're going back into object mode, going into cylinder, scaling it up vertically substantially, and then scaling it down in everything but that vertical axis. So if we look from this top here, it's actually a pretty decent size. That might be good. So grab in the y-axis, let's pull it out to the front there, back in the front view. Do I have Battlefield? No, I don't have Battlefield. Not for the PC at least. I have Battlefield, like an old version of Battlefield, like Battlefield 2 or 3 or something. I don't know what it is. For the Xbox 360. Don't even play it. Actually, I take that back. I think I rented it for a short time. I had Modern Warfare 3 for the Xbox. That's the one I actually bought. Okay, so that's this piece, and then this piece is going to go up and down when this goes up and down. That's the idea, at least. And this is just going to rotate this piece here. So it's kind of the pivot point's all messed up. So edit mode, all, grab Z, bring it down to there, and then move it forward to about there. I do not have an Xbox One. I am more of a PC gamer. That's why I still only have an Xbox 360. How about yourself? Did you fork out the money to get one of those things? Okay. Now we need to make the rotating piece. So that's going to be another object. So let's do probably another sphere, I think. It worked out, or cylinder, I'm sorry. Rotate Y 90 degrees, pull it back, give it up there approximately, and then edit mode, pull it over more, just so I can see what I'm doing. And go to vertex mode, so see all those points. This one's kind of like the other half of this sphere, kind of almost. Let's start with that. Delete those vertices. We've got that plane again, or that semicircle. Gotta face that, and then alt right click face, alt right click face. You know what? It's tools. Display. I think there is a specific option I can turn on in Blender. Let me Google it real quick. There's an option where you can turn on things so that you can show it hotkeys. Like for a recording like this. Oh, it's add-ons. Really? Preferences? Where's it at? User preferences. My blind. Oh, there it is. And then add-ons. 3D view. Activate script by enabling the check mark. Okay, how do I install it? Group 3D view. I'm not seeing it. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. If anybody knows, let me know. Thought it was right down here somewhere. It's like a screencasting thing. Shift Alt Shift C. Start display button under screencast, and yeah, there's no. So user preferences. There's no need to install this script. It's part of Blender, but first you need to enable it under user preference add-ons, 3D view. Screen. Hotkey. Maybe they've removed it from this version. Well, I can still call them out. I got them pretty well memorized anyway. Okay, so that's our object for the back of the pump jack, flywheel kind of thing. We're going to need to modify this though slightly. So let's jump out of that mode. And let's grab that whole face and extrude and scale it down significantly. And then let's maybe like that. Let's grab actually everything, go to top view. Yeah, that's way too big still in this X direction. So let's kind of center it, scale it in the X direction. Oh, like that maybe. We're gonna have two of these, I think. So let's turn on mirror mode for this one. Mirror. Interesting, it's not mirroring. Hello. Katie Long. Let's grab Y. That's not too bad looking actually. And then let's extrude that some more. But let's first yeah, I can't sleep. I'm not sure if it was just I can't sleep or if I was just too excited about working on this mod. And I don't know. Too many ideas floating around in my head, I guess. Let's scale that some more. That's looking halfway decent, actually. A little concerned that the X mode isn't working. Or the mirroring isn't working for whatever reason. Oh, there we go. Ah, our whole object is off center. Top mode. X. Nope. Grab X. It's like when I say grab, I mean that it's the G key. Usually, like the first word of what I say is the key. I'm gonna grab X, move that into like there, and let's just scale this thing down. It just is too big still. Yeah, maybe too small. Okay. Grab it forward. Center it like there. Okay. Now this tells me that our base is too big, or what is this? This is for a mod in Minecraft. I've been working on it for quite a while now. Basically, I'm adding a whole bunch of heavy machinery to Minecraft. And what this particular one is, this is a pump jack, so an oil well. This here pivots back and forth, and this spins, pulling this up and down, and drives the well over here. Hey, Freddy Studio. Welcome to the stream. And I'm just gonna feel better if I move this to the other side of the plane. There. It just bothers me like that. If I put that out there like that, maybe. Need to get a better picture. Okay, so they're attached from the outside, which makes sense. If I attach it from the inside, when this thing rotates around, it's going to hit its own inner body. Okay. If you're interested in what it is I'm basing this on, I've got a Google image search here that I did. Let's copy this image in a new window. Open image, new tab. There we go. Oops. Looks like it's from Wikipedia. So here's a link to the image if you're curious what I'm basing it off of. It's starting to look like it a little bit at least. So if I go back into this mode and I rotate this thing, it does spin around like it needs to. However, this part is in the way. So we either need to raise this up or something. Let's rotate this 90 degrees. There's the downward side. Yeah, we're definitely clipping into that thing. We could skinny that up. That would do us a lot. So let's grab that and do everything that's linked. Scale it on the x-axis. It's getting pretty skinny though. Kind of like having that fat base. You plat MCPE. Do I play Minecraft Pocket Edition? I have Pocket Edition, I just don't play it very much. Like, I spend most of my time on the PC, not on a mobile. Like, I was an early adopter to the Minecraft Pocket Edition. No worries, I know what you meant. Like, I got it before they had a lot of stuff in it. It was like not even an infinite world, and that's was a big turn off to me. I just didn't want to play Minecraft unless it was an infinite world. Oh, that's gonna do a lot right there. Probably moved it in a little bit too much because it's now fatter than the other side. Okay, let's do that and then move the whole thing in all at once. And the scale in the x-axis, so SX. And I think we're good. Now we just need to grab these. No. Let's go back to this one. And let's grab back to line mode, or edge mode. Let's grab the whole thing down vertically. There we go. So now, if I were to rotate this, oh, no, don't rotate along that view, rotate along this view. Rotate this, it goes around perfectly without hitting anything. We should do a collab, the updates have gotten really good. Oh, you're talking about 1.9? Oh, you mean Minecraft Pocket Edition. Yeah, the Pocket Edition, I know it's gotten a lot better. I think they've added another recently even, so it's done leaps and bounds. Unfortunately, I don't have any way of recording Pocket Edition. Like, I don't have a capture device for my tablet or phone or anything. So let's go back over here to this, and we need to add a pin coming out of this thing. So let's add a another cylinder. Wow, good to go cylinder heavy today. There it is. Rotate along the y-axis 90 degrees. Scale that thing down. Scale it out in the x-axis. Scale it down again, except for the x-axis. But it's now a Hawaii phone? Hawaii phone? I don't know how you say that. I've got the next. I have a Samsung tablet, and I did have a Samsung phone. I think it is. Google's new phone. I actually switched from Verizon service over to Google's Google Project Fi, and I'm very happy with the service so far. It was a lot cheaper every month. That's the reason I did that. Like with Verizon, I was paying, I want to say, $200 a month for my service and my wife's service, and now I'm paying like $60 for both of our lines. So can't beat $140 savings every month. That looks awesome right there, I think. It's nice and bulky to hold these weights. Let's go with that one. So now we need to go back to this object now, and it needs to have a pin coming out of the side of it. So let's add, and we're going to rotate that along the y-axis 90 degrees. Scale that sucker way down. Grab it out there, cylinder, grab it Y. Okay, go back to this view, grab it Y again, pull it down. It's a good position, scale it down some more. I just don't like the size of that one. Yep, okay, then we gotta grab it into where it needs to be, which is probably about right about there. Well, you can't get an app called Mobilizen. It's free and it's a pretty decent recorder. I didn't know about that. So how's it work? Does it like record it over Wi-Fi to your computer, or does it just record directly onto your tablet? Like, where does it save the video file? That's just looking amazing to me. This might be my best model yet. It's mechanically sound even. Hey, Patrick. Is that SpongeBob, Patrick? I'm gonna hold that and I'm gonna shift. There we go. I'm just gonna bump that one out just a hair more. Give us some more clearance on that. Oh, that's cool. If you can record over Wi-Fi. I wonder if you could stream with it then, because I'm doing a lot more streaming than anything on YouTube as of late. Like, I used to do a lot of videos, but I found that it's just funner to stream, right? Because you can talk to the audience while you're doing this. It's not as boring for me, I guess. And also, it just seems like I'm getting more attention this way. I can find new people to watch my channel. Kind of distinguishes me from the rest of the group. There's not a lot of people streaming on YouTube all the time, I don't think. So yeah. And then this needs to have an arm that goes up to this piece. So this is going to be the real challenge for me. I need to figure out how to make that pivot to where it needs to be and fit and look right in a Minecraft world. I don't know. Let's see. Let's do another mesh. I don't know which object this needs to be part of, so let's make it its own just to be sure I can be flexible with it. So mesh. You know what? No, wait, let's do something else. So this is going to be the counterweight. I need to name these things before I get too far off. This will be the pipe. This will be the arm. Did I already name that? Yeah, it's static. That's the name is static anymore. Its name is stand. It's kind of like the ground support for everything in the object here. Okay, so now add mesh. Add mesh. Come on. Add mesh. Cube. Yep, cube. Let's see where put that in the world. Okay, way over there. Let's get it like there. Yeah, exactly. It's an oil. It's not really the drill itself. It's the unit that pumps the oil out of the ground after the hole's been drilled. So scale on the y-axis. Something like that. Let's get this thing centered. The x-axis like that. There we go. And having to edit mode, let's add a mirror modifier to this one so it shows up on the other side of the axis. Mirror, go across that z-axis, please. And scale in the y-axis like that. And that is not the right axis. We want to do x again. There we go. Apparently that other one got rotated. So scale in the y. That's looking decent. Grab y. Oop, grab y. Bring it down. Okay. How's the stream look, guys? I'm trying to stream in HD 1080p, so hopefully it's decent for you guys. I upgraded my internet recently, so I can do that kind of thing. This is going to take some serious math to calculate this one. I have a suspicious feeling that are a lot of just if statements and trickery. Okay, and then let's do a sneaky trick here. Gonna do Control Shift, get all those, subdivide, grab that edge loop, pull it straight up like that. Yep, that's good. And pull it up a little bit more actually. Let's kind of make that a squared off edge. And then let's go to face mode and do this and extract that face straight out. Like that. Thank you. Have I ever grieved a server? No, I'm actually run servers, so no. Like, I know what a pain in the butt it is. Like, I ban the griefers, basically. I'm that guy. Hi, Nate Sup. How are you doing this early morning? Or at least early morning my time. Yeah, let's just have it like right there and see how that does. Yeah. And then back into edit mode. There we go. And let's grab that face there. Right into that. I'm just not happy with that, actually. I think that should be another round surface. So let's undo basically all of that. Because we don't need those extra vertices if it's not necessary. And then our height's probably decent. Just grab that face, it's easier. Bring it up like that. You don't like my kind, yeah. Oh, no, I'm actually in the United States. It's 4:30 in the morning. You probably see down on my clock if you can see it on the screen. I don't know if it's showing on the screen. I just couldn't sleep, so yeah. I'm just killing time until it's time to go to work for the day. This is my last day before Christmas vacation. Awesome. So rotate 90 degrees. There we go. And scale this huge thing down to size. Move it over. Scale it in the Y. That's too much. Yeah, 4:30 a.m. And it's probably 9:15 a.m. in the UK. I work with people from the UK, so I know it's like 5 hours ahead of me. Like that, and then scale her down again. Lots of little nitpicky stuff, I know, guys, but it's really needed to make it look nice, right? Okay, so there's the pin going through it. Okay. It looks awesome, right? I'm just afraid it's going to be really hard to do this in code. So let's save our work. We're in the right folder. We'll call this a pump jack. Blend. Okay, now we need to do the tricky part. So we kind of need to rename this last piece first. Yeah, I was actually up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I woke up with bad heartburn, couldn't go back to sleep, laid in bed for about 2 hours, decided to get up, and then I'm like, you know, I'll just work on the mod and stream. So why not? So I'm just killing time until about 7:45 so that I can go to work. I normally wake up about 6:30, so I'm gonna be 5 hours short on sleep. Probably crash at the end of the day. Vert arm. And where is our pivot point for this arm gonna be? That's a critical piece. Well, let's grab everything. Let's grab this down. Let's make it pivot off that top. Let's zoom in. There is lots of coffee in our country. However, I hate the smell of coffee. I am not a coffee drinker. I don't drink coffee. So I'll be doing this day all natural. Crazy, I know. But I can do that because I don't drink coffee, so I'm not addicted to it. I don't need it to stay awake. Now, I'll tell you this. If I were to go sit down at the end of the day in a chair and watch TV, I'd be out, like, within 5 minutes, probably. So there's that. This is my mod. It's called Techstack's Heavy Machinery mod. If you want to hear in a minute, guys, I can kind of give you a quick run through what the mod does. There's quite a bit in it already. This is just adding to it, right? So I just need to get this stuff saved off real quick, then I can show you. Just let me know if you want to see it. How am I American? Yeah, I know. I'm weird. I drink water. Pretty much the only thing I drink. There's actually a story behind that, if you're interested. If you like story time. See, resources, mod, assets, machine mod, models, pumpjack.obj. You will see. Okay, so we just added that. It's gonna take me a few minutes to actually get it added to the game, so I'll give you guys a quick rundown of what we can do with this thing. In fact, I'm gonna start a new world here so I can test out the world gen maybe too. You can see I'm running in Forge. It's loading up my mod and all the other junk. Single player. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Ignore the textures, ignore the models that I've got. I've been talking to a 3D artist. He is very interested in doing all the all the textures at the very least, and at least some of the models. So they're basically just solid colors because I'm not an artist. I'm a programmer first. So, like, this is one of my best models. Flat land. What kind of computer program is what? Minecraft? Or are you talking about this? This is Eclipse. This is what you use to write mods, basically. It's a programming IDE, integrated development environment. Options allow cheats on. Let's just make this a super flat, which probably screw up my world gen, but that's okay. So super flat, customize. Super flat will make it easier for me to demonstrate the. Just do classic flat. No, redstone ready. Super flat. Autonomous Dream's a good one too. Let's do that one. Done. Flatlands. Create world. So the mod is really about bringing. This is PC. The Eclipse is for both PC and Mac though. So the mod's really about bringing machinery into Minecraft. The reason for it, I was a big fan of the Feed the Beast mod packs, where there's hundreds of mods. You can automate everything under the sun, and when you do so, you end up to the point where you basically don't have to play Minecraft anymore because Minecraft plays itself. It's like really cool to set up those automations, but really, really like anti game mode, anti, how do I say this? It's like you spend a lot of time up front playing the game, and then you don't do anything in the game after that. And the crane, I'll just ignore. My bed truck doesn't even have a texture, so some of these are going to look really derpy because like the textures are just crap, or the models are crap. But I've been basically working on the functionality of what they do. It's like that one doesn't even have a texture, so it's just black. It'll glitch around in different colors. So let's go over the bulldozer here first. And there's other ones. I'm just grabbing a few of these. So if I get in the bulldozer, it's actually a rideable entity in the world. I can move it around. You can see me sitting on it. That's not my normal skin. That's because I'm writing a Forge mod. They just give you a random player name. Anyway, so I can hold space, which is my jump key, and control, which is my sprint key, and you'll see that the bucket on this thing goes up and down, and as it does, it changes where I'm going to be affecting blocks in the world. If I hold control and move forward, I'm going to start digging down. I'm going to have to move back up here so that I can not run into the dirt in front of me. So yeah, this is what the bulldozer does. It just clears soft materials. Does it in a 5 wide path, and soft materials being dirt, sand, clay, netherrack, stuff like that. Another thing a bulldozer does, because this works in the real world, is knocks over trees. So you just hit a tree, the whole thing falls over, breaks into blocks. Pretty cool. It's great for clearing large flat areas. Obviously this is a super flat, so it's not like all bumpy, but if it was a normal world, we've used this to clear all the trees from swamps and completely flatten the swamps, so it turns it into a slime spawning haven, basically. Because currently, in this version I'm playing of it, slimes are used in the recipes. I'm going to be adding oil so that you can make rubber other ways, basically. So that's the bulldozer at a quick high level. Then we come to the tractor. The tractor is kind of unique because it uses an attachment system. What's it called? There's a trencher. There is a plow. There is a planter. And a sprayer. Okay, and I'm going to get myself some seeds. A bucket of water, because I'm going to need that to plant stuff, right? And some bone meal. Okay, so I've got the stuff I need to use this. So you jump in the tractor, you can see it has an inventory. Whatever I put in the first slot of its inventory appears out the back of the tractor. So it's like you're adding a different utility onto the back of the tractor. So I put the plow on there. Oops. Jump in. There we go. I can put the planter on. So all these things just appear in the back, basically. And depending on which one you have in, the tractor does different things. So if I got this trencher on and I just move forward, it's going to dig a 1 block wide trench in the world. And then let's back up. Get away from this a little bit. And stop right there. Okay, so I'm going to hop out. I'm going to grab my bucket of water. And I'm going to put down some water in this trench. That's the whole idea of the trencher, right? So that you can irrigate your crops. And of course, this is a biome where it's going to freeze. How nice. Now let's put on the plow. So you can see we got the plow on the back. I'm going to move over just a hair because it's not quite over far enough. And I'm going to hold down the sprint key again, and I'm going to start plowing the dirt, or tilling the dirt. There we go. And whoops. Let's take the plow off, put the planter on, and throw some seeds into the planter. And if I back up, it works in reverse too. You can actually plant the crops down. Works with any crops in Minecraft, or should. And then finally, if we put on the sprayer and some bone meal, we can bone meal those crops by holding control yet again. Pretty cool, right? So now you've got your whole farming, planting in the game, basically. Get out of F5 mode. It's easier to drive these machines in F5 mode, but wow, they hard to interact with them sometimes. Why can't I hit your bounding box? Come on. If I shift click on this thing, it should be picked up. Oh, well, I need an empty hand. Come on, pick up. Huh, that's concerning. Maybe that's a bug with that one. Yeah, I want to get picked up. Oh, that's what happened. That's a bug. Okay. I'll have to remember that. Good to know. Good to know. So now that we've got our crops planted, now we can harvest them. So we grab this combine harvester, run over here, hold down control when we get close, and we harvest the crops in like a 5 wide area. So really quick way of getting crops, right? So it's putting all the crops into the harvester's inventory. I can pull them down into my own inventory, replant, use the wheat for whatever, that kind of thing. This one here, this is a lawnmower. This was just kind of one of the silly things I wanted to add to the mod. It is eventually going to have a use, but right now when you hold down control, it mows the yard, mows the grass, turning it into this mowed grass texture block. And when I turn around, you'll see that the texture is actually directional. So you can make those lines in your yard like some fancy yards have, you know, where they mow the yard in the same pattern over and over and over again. That kind of thing. And the popping sound you're hearing is me collecting lots and lots of tall grass. The tall grass is going to be used for feeding, making some food for cows and stuff later on in the mod, once I get to that point. Now, the rest of these machines, you can kind of probably guess what they do a little bit, but let's try and come back to these two machines, the loader and the bulldozer, in a minute. And the drill will kind of become self-evident as well. Real quick, let's grab this wide bed truck, because I think this one's kind of cool. It needs more love, and, you know, in the form of a texture, even a basic one. So if I go over to this loader, it's actually going to pick that thing up, and I can drive it around the world then. The benefit in doing that versus just picking up the item and carrying the item is it keeps your fuel level, and also eventually this wide bed truck's going to go faster than the rest of the machines, so you can haul your machines around at a quicker speed. And then when I get to where I want to drop it off, I hold the control, it unloads it back into the world, and it maintains its fuel level. So that's the wide bed truck. Pretty cool. Now let's get to what my original thought process was on this mod. So I worked for a quarry for about 7 years, a stone quarry. And in a stone quarry, you drill the ground, you put explosives into the ground, and once you've done that, you put you put explosives into the holes you drilled. So normally they drill vertically, but this hand drill will drill to the side. And let's put explosives in it, which is Ampho in this mod. There we go. Ampho is like fertilizer and fuel oil. And let's put a lever on it, and let's get us an explosion. Now, my mod, the explosions don't work like TNT. You flip a lever, boom, it's going to instantly explode. It's not like TNT where there's a detonation time. So if I were not in creative, I would die at this. There we go. Now, you notice there's all this blasted stone. So what I've done with this mod, let's get some ore. Gold, iron, coal, lapis, and then let's get some explosives. And it works with diamonds too. And eventually it's going to work with modded stuff. So like silver and all those other ores they have. Coal, lapis, and then let's just place down some random explosives. And I forgot my lever. So when I detonate this, it turns those ores into blasted versions of themselves. So this is a blasted gold, blasted iron, blasted lapis, etc. Now, you're saying to yourself, why do we want to do this? Because I've also done what quarries really do in the real world and added crusher. Primary. This crusher is like your macerator and other Minecraft mods that will double your ore output. So if I were to get one of these blasted, let's do iron, and toss it in there and give this thing some fuel so it'll run. You'll see that I've gotten out of this thing if I didn't have a full inventory. Of course. Blasted lapis, so. Boink. I've got 12 lapis out of that. If it were iron, I would get 3 iron dust, which could be smelted into iron ingots. So it's a tripling of your ores. Okay, so the way that quarries do this, they'll blast a big area, and all the stone falls to the ground. Which, if you didn't notice, my blasted materials have gravity attached to them. But they have gravity in a different way. So if you stack 2 on top of each other, they fall over. And it will actually form a cone-shaped, just like they do in a stone quarry. They have big, what are they called? Stackers, which are conveyor belts that stack up material. They just lift it up into the air and drop it off, and it forms a big pile, like a big pyramid shape, so that they can pick it up with a loader later, which is exactly what the loader's for. So you blast your material, you get a bunch of it on the ground, you jump in your loader, you drive forward, you start picking it up, and because it tumbles down this hill... when's my next stream? Probably over the weekend. I don't have a set time for it. But good night if you can actually go to sleep. You can see in the loader, the items in the bucket are actually rendered in the bucket. And if I lift this up, I can dump the items in its bucket out into the world. And for example, I can do that over the dump truck, and it will dump into the dump truck, and the dump truck picks them up and shows them in its bed. So then I can dump them right in the dump truck, which has a bigger inventory than the loader, and dump it out. So it's all about trying to be a little bit more realistic with how Minecraft works. It puts the player back into Minecraft because they really need to play the mod again, or play the game again, right? So you're going to be blasting materials, you're going to be running a loader around, picking up all your blasted materials, throwing them into a dump truck, taking that dump truck onto a conveyor system, which is the next thing I'm going to show, dumping them off into the world so they get pushed over by conveyor. Let's move this truck out of the way. To the crusher. Oh, what line is this on? This one. So let's do this. So here's my conveyor block. This is how you move items without actually being in a machine. So let's lower this truck bed. There we go. And give it a bunch of junk to process. Go over here. I'll probably have to hop up on top of this conveyor. See if we can get them on the conveyor itself. It might be tricky with this setup. And lift this thing up. And away they go. Up and over into the crusher for processing. So, it's all about realism, or semi-realism, I should say. It's gonna be cool, guys. Like, we've got a server set up, a private server set up for this, and we've blasted a huge area at bedrock level, diamond level, and just been lifting, picking it all up with the dump or the loader. These conveyors, actually, if you stack them like this, will lift items up, entities in the world. So it lifts them up. It lifts players up as well. I did not fly, that was actually lifting me up. If we grab a zombie, put him on this thing, he gets lifted up. Makes for great mob farms. It really, really does. We figured out ways to sort cows with these so that we can separate the adults from the children. Things like that. Mobs will actually spawn on these. We've set up slime farms with them where they spawn on the platform and it just shoves them right off into a pit that they fall into and take fall damage. Stuff like that. So it's a lot of capability. Right here's my drill. The model for this one's pretty awful. If we were to go out over the edge here, it's like right there, and I hold down control, the arm's gonna lower down for the drilling rig. I don't know if we're gonna be able to see it here, but my depth gauge over on the left side of my screen is going down. And we're at 16 blocks down, so we've drilled a hole wherever that thing is in the stone. There we go. So we drilled a hole in the stone 16 blocks down. You can see it all the way down. So then we could take the ampho again, plop her right on in there. We're gonna pack on all that stuff with up with explosives. Bring out our lever and detonate this thing. Boom. So that's kind of the mod right now, guys. Oh, whoa. You're gonna love this next one. I forgot I added it. So there's a thing called a bagger. A bagger is this huge, massive machine that basically can destroy an entire world. It's a real thing in the real world. There's one over in Germany called a Bagger 288. I suggest you look for a YouTube video about this. It's a song about the Bagger 288. It's kind of funny. But it's a giant bucket wheel. And this bucket wheel will just chew up the world. Which is what I've had to do here. You can see that it's picking up the dirt. And if I move forward, this thing is so big it's extremely slow. So I'm moving forward, eating the world. Once I get forward far enough that I fall down into this pit I'm making, we can just slowly go down and destroy the world. I've taken this into a non-super flat world and destroyed a mountain within a few minutes' time. It's awesome. Got a few rendering glitches where occasionally it won't show up like right now. But just moving around will fix it. I think I know what's causing that, so I probably can fix it eventually. Just got to figure it out. So this item being so OP like it is very expensive. Very slow to move. Uses 4 times the fuel. If you notice, all the machines have a fuel gauge over on the left. While you're in creative, they don't actually consume fuel. So that's why you're not seeing it go down right now. If I weren't in creative, it would be going down. And you've seen that zombie. He took damage there. All my mods, or all my machines, when someone's writing them, will damage any mob or player that runs into them. Just another gameplay mechanic I thought was pretty cool. So if you and your buddy are playing on a server together and you run him over, he's going to start taking damage. It's kind of funny. We've had it happen several times where people didn't realize that the loader was going to back up and it hits them and he ran over. I put some comical messages in too for the death messages to go with that. What else, guys? Let's actually get out of this world because there's no lakes or oceans in this world. Let's go back to a normal world and show one of the more recent additions to the mod. Okay, there's a nice place of water. Let's grab the sub. Build a submarine for Minecraft. This one, I think just the view from sitting inside the machine is pretty awesome. So you can see, underwater, it's awful, right? You can't see nothing. So let's get, like, right there. Yeah, there's the sub. Again, the model's not the best, but when you're sitting inside of it, it looks amazing. So let's go underneath the water here and look at that. I've given you the potion effects that are needed to be able to see underwater. Because if you're in a real sub, you'll be able to see underwater quite a ways, right? So here you go. I just love the view out of this thing. It looks like you're underwater in a real sub. In a Minecraft world, of course. So that's really its purpose. It just kind of scoots around under the water pretty quick right now. You can actually get back in it. Build from inside the cab. So if you wanted to build an underwater base, this is the thing you want to use. Some other uses, there probably is going to be oil under the oceans and stuff, and this might have like a sonar or something like that that might help you find it. But really, it was designed to find ocean temples, designed to build underwater bases, stuff like that. In addition to the vision effects, I have water breathing, and when you're in it, you just don't suffocate basically from being underwater. So there's that. What else? Turboprops. Those are all just components to making other things in the mod. The excavator, I can show you that. So the excavator, everybody's like, ooh, make an excavator when they see all the other stuff I made. This one's probably one of the more complicated math problems I've tried to solve in my life. So in order to do an excavator arm, right, you have to calculate basically a triangle. So that forms a triangle right there. So you gotta say, I'm looking at this block. What's the triangle that would be needed to make this configuration and cover that distance from here to here with arms that are this length and this length? That was a pain. It's been a long time since I took high school geometry, trigonometry, all that stuff. So that was like a refresher course for me. So what this thing does is pretend it has a jackhammer attachments at the end of it, and it will just shoot through the world, breaking the blocks that you point at when you're holding that sprint key control button down. So yeah, this is more like a precise tool, right? OP precise tool for mining up the different blocks. And you notice I made it so it's transparent when you're just inside of it, because looking at the blocks is key in this one. The other machines weren't as important that you could see through them or anything like that, so that's why you can see through them. So that's the excavator on the fuel system. So we've got a fermenter, we've got a distiller, and we got a fuel pump. So distiller, fermenter, distiller, fuel pump. The way these are designed to be set up is you do a fermenter first, into a distiller, into a fuel pump. And we've got corn in a mod. So this is how you get your like basic beginner fuel, right? If you don't have oil. So you put corn in here and it starts fermenting the corn into fermented mash, which eventually will form, I think right now, it's like balanced for 250 fermented mash per corn. And it'll take a while for that to work. So eventually it's going to pump all of that fermented mash that it makes into the distiller. The distiller is going to need fuel in it. So if I grab some coal, you'll heat that fermented mash up and turn it into actual fuel. And I didn't grab that coal, I just searched for it. Here we go. Come on, ferment. And eventually that fuel then that the distiller produces gets pumped into the fuel pump, and you can fill your fuel cans that you can make in the fuel pump. Well, you can see it's already filling up fuel. So the fermented mash, it's already made it, pumping it into this, and this is just pumping it straight into the fuel can because it's fermenting it as it goes because it already consumed one coal. When is the mod out for download? A version of the mod is out for download now. It's an alpha version. It's probably buggy. I know it's buggy. But all the stuff I showed you today is not in it. I will be releasing it probably within the next week or two, the version I have now. But there's still a lot of stuff I'm going to add and I'm working on. Hi, Hill. Sorry, I'm having trouble seeing my screen there. Your name was hard to read. pull that down where I can see it a little easier. I think I can pop this thing out too. Yeah, cool. Guess it has always on top. No, I can't. That's annoying. Anyway, later, Nate Spot. Subscribe for more. The description for this video has a link to download the original version of the mod, which again doesn't have a lot of the machines I showed today. So anyway, that's a quick rundown of the mod. If you guys just joining or whatever and didn't see the rundown, bye Nate. Sorry, I would talk to Nate real quick. Yeah, if you didn't see the quick rundown I did here, watch one of my other videos on my channel, or just rewind this. I think I enabled that in the live stream. Rewind it a bit. I just gave a quick rundown of like pretty much everything in the mod. But for now, let's switch back over and see if we can go about adding the pump jack to the game. So we need to start with an entity. We're going to start with which one? Let's do the oil rig because it's pretty awesome. Thank you, Nate. You rock, man. And normally, guys, I stream with some other people. I think I mentioned earlier I run some servers and stuff, and they're just all in bed right now. So yeah, pump. Fiery is awesome, and he jumps in my streaming channel and TeamSpeak with me and helps keep it a little bit more entertaining than it is right now. So we've got the pump jack. Pump jack's actually not going to need any fuel. That's an interesting one. So this machine's going to be different than all my other machines. It's also not going to need a speed. So this dot max speed probably. Yeah, max speed equals 0. We're not going to be riding this machine. This dot is writable. Can be. Yeah, I'm gonna have to set up something special about this one not being writable. We don't want the player just sitting in it. Well, maybe we do. I don't know. So for now, let's just set it up as a basic one. So there's nothing in the update, which is fine. We've got to add it as an entity here. We need to add it as an entity here. So we're just going to add another one. Pump jack. And we need to add a render and model for it. So model. Oil rig, we'll copy that one. Pump jack. And open that one. Pump jack. You're going to hear me say pump jack a lot because I need to change everything from what it said before to pump jack basically for this to work. Go into here. Give it the texture, which we didn't set up one, so we'll have to do that too. And we'll name it pump jack. In fact, let's do that real quick from Blender. So just split the Blender screen, do a UV unwrap image editor, do a new image, hit OK, scroll that back out, and wow, what colors? You see I've got an image here up on another screen. Let's do that Google search again. So there's green, there's a gray with some yellow, some green with some yellow, some green with some orange, some red. They're kind of whatever color the company wants them to be, it looks like. So I think we can just go with whatever. Let's go with like this part and these parts all one color, I guess. Yeah, it's all one piece. And we'll go from there. We'll make that like that counterweight like a reddish color or something, just to make it a little bit different. This black. So tab, unwrap. So there's that. I'll put that up in this corner. And unwrap, tab, all, unwrap. Make it the same color. Yeah, I know this isn't a proper UV unmapping. I really, A, don't have the time for that right now. B, don't fully understand how to make it right. I know how to make the models. I don't know how to unwrap very well. So, yeah. All, unwrap. Put this over here. And then this last one, unwrap, unwrap, and put that one over here. Okay, so now I go down here to paint and do T and select, no, select everything. How can I select everything? For reals? Fine, be that way. So this thing we're gonna have be a dark color, not quite black, but pretty dark. Ramp up that strength, increase my brush size, wrong button. Oh, that's purple. No, not purple. With that dead center. There we go. So we'll give that a grayish color. This will be, let's go with a greenish color, I guess. Maybe greenish yellow, there we go. And the arm, we didn't even unwrap that. Unwrap. Oh, view. Okay, it's unwrapped. And the base, which is up there also. Let's scale that down a little bit so it gets in that same unwrapping color. There we go. And back to paint mode. And then we've got this piece, which is down there. What color should that be? Let's make that like a reddish color, or maybe yellow. Yellow's probably good. Let's bring up the brightness on that. There we go. Make it look like a John Deere pump. Okay, and then we switch this over to textured mode here. And we can kind of see how that's going to look. Not too shabby. Not for one of my textures, at least. Okay, so let's save this again and give it an export to wavefront. Pump jack. No more writing the meshes. We need to triangulate and -y up, because that's just how we roll here to make things work. Okay. Now the part that I kind of hate. I kind of have to make it not look the way I want it to look in order to function the way I need it to function. So get out of edit mode, grab this. We need to just zero everything out. Super annoying from my standpoint, because rendering this is going to be a pain. An absolute pain. But it's the only way to do it. Okay. There we go. Save this again. Why can't I save you? I want to save you. There. Export again. Wavefront. Pump jack. Export. We're good to go. So we've got the model, we've got the pump jack PNG. Oh, we didn't save the PNG. UV image editor, please. Where did you go, UV image editor? There you are. And we're going to switch over to that one. And it says image Save as image. We are not in the right spot, so we're going to go to sources, main, resources, assets, machine mod, models, pump jack. .png. Okay, so now we can pick up that pump jack resource. Pump jack texture. Okay, this is gonna need to change. This is gonna need to change. This is gonna need to change, and this is gonna need. Well, all this will change is basically gonna be the case. But let's just do a render all for right now, so we can test, and we'll just run in debug mode, and we'll start adding the stuff as we can. Once we get to that point, so we need to add the renderer next. So let's go to machines. There should be an oil rig one. We can copy that. We can say pump jack. And find the pump jack, open it up. We no longer want that to be named oil rig, so we're going to come up here, Control or Alt Shift R, call it pump jack. Bam, it changes it everywhere in the code here. I'm going to change this to pump jack. UMP JSCK. Pump jack, rendering the pump jack, doing all these extra calls that aren't needed for this version, and then model, pump jack, texture, location. Yes, that's exactly what we want. Thank you. And finally, come down here. Where is it? Client, something or another, blah, blah, blah. No, proxy. Oh, yeah, proxy. Client proxy, we're going to tell it that when we render a entity for pump jack, we want to render with our render pump jack class. Okay, we can close this one and get down to the business of this thing running actually. And spawning. Oh, no, 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 no. We have no way of spawning it. Yeah, we can spawn it with a command, I guess. We're going to need to add the item for the pump jack itself. It says one person's watching on YouTube. So I'm going to assume that's me watching the stream in the preview window. If you're there and that's not me, hello, person. Feel free to leave a comment. Talk to me. It's just me up in the house right now because it's 5:11 in the morning. I've already been streaming for an hour and a half, it looks like. So yeah. So summon machinemod dot pump. Oh no, pump jack's not there. Really? Why you know like me? I didn't do the entity. Thought I did. I did. Ah, entity sub. There we go. Save. And restart Minecraft because that part of the code only runs on startup. Yep, everything else should be good. So now that we're started again, should be able to do /summon pump, no, machine dot pump jack. There we go. We've got the components for the pump jack. Now we just need to render them in the right locations. The next extremely hard part, basically. So the next thing we need to do is in its update method for the pump jack itself, I'm going to start setting or incrementing the attribute that I've got defined on this thing. So this dot attribute 1 equals this dot attribute 1 +1, right? So that it's incrementing, so we can get a value increasing on this thing, okay? So next, we need to go to its renderer, and we need to start, instead of calling everything, which is in here somewhere, and I'm just overlooking it. No, it's on the model. Sorry. Yeah, on the model. So right now we're calling render all. So I'm going to comment that line out, and you see it disappears from the world. Next, we need to comment this piece out, and we need to go back to the model itself, the OBJ file that's created. So under resources, machinemod, models, something's going to be called pumpjack.obj. Right there it is. So if I right click, open with text editor, there we go. And you can see the arm is right there. So let's just search for the letter O, because that's how it's doing the object definition. So that just says off. That's not what we want. Counterweight cylinder, pipe cylinder, arm cube, stand cube. That's what we want first. So in our, we don't want that one. Don't want that one. In this one. Let's get those two beside each other if we can. No, can't. Okay, now we can. What? For real? Can I close all these? It's like more are opening up. Just fill the space. There we go. Now we can switch back and forth quick. So I'm going to render the item cube, or the stand cube, first, right? Okay, and I don't see it. What is going on? Could be it's underground, potentially. Yeah, it's here, because I can't hit the dirt here. So, F3B. Yeah. Alrighty then. I did some translations on it. Let's not do that first. How big is this thing's bounding box? Good grief. Let's just summon another one. So it falls into the ground. That's the problem. And its bounding box is freaking huge. Okay, let's change that too. Pump jack. Yeah, you don't need a size 13. You need like a size 3 probably. And a size 3 again. There. Next one we spawn will be much smaller. So small I don't even see it at all. Okay. So why is it like clipping into the world so bad? Let's not set this. This might be screwing with it too. It's really weird it's clipping into the world that hard. They normally don't do that. Well, we don't need that translate. We will need this piece. We will not need the entity oil rig. It'll be pump check instead. Translate that again. Like that. So rendering the stand. What else do we need to render? The vertical arm. The counterweight cylinder. Just trying to think out why it would be doing the whole fall into the ground trick it's doing. So let's list out all the things we gotta render first. Oh, it's gonna be like that. Pipe cylinder. Arm cube 1. Stand cube, which I think we already got. Yeah, we do. And vertical arm cube. Almost done with this, I think. Counterweight cylinder 01. Counterweight cylinder 01. So yeah, I think we're done. Pipe cylinder. Okay, so we've got them all listed. So let's just go ahead and just render these all like right where they are, and then we'll start separating them out, moving them around where they need to be in due time. Yeah, but I think the sleepies are starting to kick in. It's like my head is starting to hurt really bad. My eyes too. My mic's still picking me up when I talk, hopefully. So let's render this now. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. It seems like something is just totally off though, because it renders so freaking weird. Yeah, something's not right. Everything's moving in the world. Did I not have the pop and push matrix? That could very well be. So let me go to the render for this thing. Pump jack, maybe. Push matrix. Yep, no pop matrix. Why? Why did I not do that? GL pop. Pop matrix. So it just like returns everything to its default rotations and all that kind of junk. Yeah, it's not in this one either. Weird. Well, there's your problem. See, look, everything's like rendering normal now. Okay, so first things first here. Let's fix our little being underground thing by doing this so we can see everything. Okay, so everything's upside down. So that tells me, is it? Yes, everything's upside down. So when we did the export, we probably didn't flip the y-axis, or we did and didn't need to, or something silly. Yeah. So there's that. Save. And we gotta restart Minecraft for that one change to take effect. Yes, we want to restart. Let's stop all together, please, and rerun. Excuse me. So how are we going to sort this out? So it's going to be weird, basically. Just very weird. It's going to be two different math numbers to figure out the rotation that we need to put this thing at. So, okay. Now we've got things vertical, at least, like it should be. So first we need to translate the yellow object up to there and over to here. let's get on the pump jack. Put that on this side of my screen. This on this side of my screen. There we go. So we are talking about the counterweight cylinder, so we need to do the translations for that. Okay, and everything just went flying. So let's start with 0 on this one first. Okay, so that's the vertical. So I'm going to go up 1.5. Let's try that. And back maybe instead of 4. There we go. And not 4, let's do it 3. Okay, now we're kind of close, so we can get in there. And we also can do this, so that everything else gets out of my way. There we go. That puts all that stuff over there. So we need to go up quite a bit more, and maybe not so far back, so 2.5. Nope, not enough, so 7.5. 0.9. Now we're talking. Let's get time set day. Time set day. And game rule. Do daylight cycle false. Okay. And let's do 8.5. Now we're talking. What's 2 look like? Too high. Much too high. And we don't have an end on our cylinder for some reason. Or the cylinder normals are totally inverted. 1 and 2. Yeah, cylinder normals are inverted. Nice. Oh, that might actually be like almost spot on for that. These go back a hair actually. 2.86. Okay. That's where I want it. And now, the piece de resistance. We're gonna rotate. Yeah, we're gonna rotate. Let's do this first. Let's just store that attribute 1 value. Rotate. Primary rotation. So this is gonna be, what is this defined as? An integer or float? So float. We want this to be a private float that is called what? Primary rotation. Okay, and then it'll be 0 by default. Oh, what? Look at it rotating. Amazing. Let's grab this, put this up here, and set this to be this value here. And then we can take this and put it down here and rotate by this amount. So it just gives us an easy way of doing it without calling out and doing the typecasting and all that stuff. Continue. What did I got wrong? Oh. And then this too. Continue. And run, please. Okay. Didn't catch that error message. Yeah, I've got another hour and a half I can stream, maybe. Give or take. Okay, so got the rotation in the wrong spot in the code, but it's rotating. So we want to do that rotation before we draw that one. There we go. And I think we want to rotate it in the opposite direction, so it's doing this direction, but we want to go the other way. I would rather see it going like clockwise. So let's just do times -1. That should cover it. Yep, there we go. Sorry about all the dingings. People must be starting to wake up for work or something, or offshore teams are doing something. I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. People in other countries are doing things. Okay, so that's rotating around there like we want. Then we need to cancel that rotation right after. So not times -1. That locks those objects in space constant. And we need to move this arm up, which that arm somehow got offset. Wow. That shouldn't have happened. So let's go to top view, grab Y, X. Oh, it's, okay. Grab X. Its object was in the right spot, but its vertex data was not. Okay, let's just leave it like that. Save. We need to do another export and restart a Minecraft for that to take effect. Wavefront object, pump jack, export. There we go. That speed on that's like almost perfect, I think. Maybe a little faster would even be better. I'm liking this. It doesn't jerk around at all, it just keeps going. Very cool. So now we need to draw which one? The pipe cylinder can just be drawn last. Don't care about that one very much right now. The arm itself. So we need to draw the arm translated up first. So let's do another translation vertically of 2 just to get us started. And then move this forward also. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's the one that's out of whack. So let's restart Minecraft. Just so we don't get any visual offsets, really, from what it should be. How are we doing on the stream? So we had 5 people watching at one point. We're down to just 1 right now. So that's probably just me. That's okay, I guess. It is really early. Anybody that's in Europe probably is at work or school if they're not out for holiday, for Christmas. But the United States is still asleep. It's probably not the best time to stream, but hey, people can watch it later on my channel. Okay, so we need to move it up and back. So let's do -2.86 just for the fun of it. See where that puts us. And 3. 3 is not even enough. Let's do 3.1. Still needs more. 3.3. Now we're talking. And the 0.5 maybe. No, wait. We can do much more forward. Let's do 1. And that's too much. 1.5. I'm going off of the fact that the pipe and everything else is in the same spot, so that should be our center point. 1.2. There we go. That's like amazing. It is the center perfectly. Okay, so now the very difficult piece. Let's go back to the entity pump first. And we've got this thing set up so that it doesn't really have any limitations, I don't think. Yeah. So if this dot attribute 1 is greater than 360, please set it to 0. It'll just simplify our math overall, I think. This dot attribute 1 equals 0. See how it jerked around because it was like probably like close to a couple hundred or a couple thousand, I mean. So let's just make sure it does rotate all around successfully without any jerkiness to it. Again, sorry for the... Let me just put that thing on silent. There we go. Good. Nice and smooth. So there's that piece. Now we need to move the vertical arm back. It needs to be back, like, right there. So let's do that next. Let's draw the vertical arm next. And let's just throw in another translation. Oop, not like that. Oh my gosh, I'm screwing this up so bad. It's not even funny. Okay, so this one needs to be there. There we go. And this one needs to be here. Okay, so we don't want to move it up anymore. We were up where we want it to be. Yep. And we want to go back a bit more. Let's try 2. Oh, wow. 2 spot on. Okay, and then what we want to do also is move this one forward however much. So 2 plus 1.2, so probably 3.2 forward. Gets that nowhere near the front of this thing, but we will fix by doing things. 4.5, 0.7. That's pretty dang close. That's right where it needs to be. And then down a whole poop ton. 4. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Okay. So now the vertical arm, now the horizontal arm needs to be pivoting up and down. And it needs to pivot up and down in such a way that we control this a little bit. Let's see. Equals 0. So that's straight up and down. And if that's the case, this needs to be moved forward, doesn't it? And up. So let's get that right first. So the vertical arm here needs to be moved forward. 1.8. That looks pretty decent, actually. And then up a hair. Oh. Boy, that's just a hair too much. So 0.5, 0.05. I think that's Billy Bob. Okay. Now what happens if I rotate now? Let's just try it. So where are we using primary? Right here. So I've translated it up, and now I'm going to rotate around that spot, that amount. Let's plus 1. Oh, awesome. It does what I want. No, redo. So if I take this comment out, we get everything rotating like that. And 0 is straight down, so 180 is straight up. And then so 0 is straight down, 180 straight up, then it's going to continue to go back to 360, and it'll be down again. If I rotate figure out a secondary rotation number. Probably floated. So secondary. Let's do Control Shift or Cool R. Lowercase. There we go. Secondary rotation. Secondary rotation is going to be set at basically, its high point's going to be when the other one's at 180, and its low point's going to be at when the other one's at 0, or greater than 180. 360, basically. So I need to figure out what the angles I want this one to be at. If primary rotation. Hello, whoever's watching. Welcome to the stream. We're working on a Minecraft mod, and currently I'm trying to add a pump jack, which is something that pumps oil out of the ground. So it's spinning all funny, so I'm trying to do the math to figure out what all the rotations need to be. And I'm just doing it by guessing at this point, because I don't know exactly how the rotations should work. So if the rotation is less than 180, we need to take, that probably is a percentage, right? Why is my voice Time Warner cable thing coming up? Primary rotation times 0.5. And I forgot to add the semicolon. Why you don't like that word? Rotate back, and this one's going to be secondary location or rotation. .5 F. There we go. Okay, so we're inverted for what we need to be. And like 25% is probably good. So it's secondary location, rotation, not times -1. I could do the math to figure out all these numbers, right? So this is an arm, this is an arm, this is an arm. Those need to form triangles, and we could do the math to figure it out. But I think I'm kind of close with just doing guesstimation. What else? Primary rotation needs to be what? So thank you, Emperor Bulldog. You rock. And thank you for subscribing. No, Google, I don't want to talk to you. So if the primary rotation, so let's save that. Okay, so it's going to keep spinning around right now. So we need to do... It needs to come back down. Times negative? No, it's not. It's going to make it jump. So what is 25% of 180? 180 times 0.25 is 45 degrees. So we need to start at 45 degrees and take off whatever we're at. 45 degrees minus this times 25%. Minus 180. Okay, it flipped over. I want to start at 45 degrees and reduce. That's going to have it increasing. That's part of the problem. Let's have the subtraction first. Go up and then come back down, please. There we go. Teeter-totter. Dang, that's pretty close. Problem is, I don't think the distance from the top of this, so let's just set that. Primary rotation needs to be a constant right now, and it needs to be 180. Freeze that in space. So I don't think the distance from this point here to this point here is enough. I think that's our problem right now. So if I were to bring this in, it's going to be way past this, and it's going to be like it's sliding, right? Maybe this stand needs to be further forward from it. Or the arm needs to be further back. Both of those could potentially solve it. However, when it's at 0, it looks right. So when it's at 0, the pin's attached there, and the pin's attached to the bottom of this. Set it at 90 degrees. So I think this angle needs to be the inverse of this angle, if I even slightly know what math is. Which I may not. So let's do third rotation. Float. I think it's called tertiary when you just say that way. Let me see how you spell that in Google. Yep, I would have hacked that completely. So tertiary rotation. And let me close this so I can get my chat back. Chat window, please. Okay, there we go. And we need to set tertiary rotation equal to secondary rotation, which I did not paste in, times -1. And then let's rotate. Where's my rotate? There it is. Let's rotate the vertical arm after we translate it to that location, times that, or tertiary amount. Ho ho! Hoo-ha! Hee-ha! Yeah, not enough. I'm gonna take a wild guess here. Times point. No, times 4. Nope, way too much. Times 2. Ooh, we're close. So let's just let this play without the primary rotation being locked. Save. And play. Dang, that angle. Ooh, so close. Okay, it's getting too extreme. That's one thing I noticed. So it can't just go off of that. It does line back up, though. So we can't go off of this calculation. It needs to be off the 90 degrees. So if it's between 0 and 90, we need to do one thing. And then we need to bring it back, and then back again. So it's kind of like this, only based off of 90 degrees. So if primary rotation is less than 90, we're going to do tertiary location. Rotation is this. It's probably based on the primary rotation, right? Yeah, this is based off primary rotation. Screw it. And then otherwise, when you start bringing it back the other direction, we can also say or primary rotation is greater than 270, I think. So, no, greater than. So that's like the far side. So 90, 270. Those are the two sides of the circle. So it's greater than 90 now. And we need to do times no. So something like this. So we need to subtract out that 180. And what's that max rotation at 90 degrees? It's going to be the same. It's going to be the exact same calculation. Wow. Right? So primary rotation, less than 90, less than 90, less than 90, less than 90, greater than 90, and it should be coming back, but it's not. Tertiary location, primary. That'll be minus 90 probably, first off. Let's just debug it there. Yeah, I don't care about all these other breakpoints, please. So primary rotation is what? 249. 45. Okay. And we've got what here? Let's bring up a watch window. Add new expression. That is what? Okay, 159 times a quarter. Is 39.75. Minus 45. It's not going to be much for rotation at all. Oh, there it is. There it is. Get rid of that. And go. There we go. Okay, we're already going the wrong direction, so we can see that. So we're going the wrong direction initially. Okay. I know this math-wise should be the same number, but my primary rotation number is so small that it's not changing what our point needs to be. We actually need to be multiplying by 4, don't we? That movement needs to be exaggerated, no? We don't need to be multiplying at all. Okay, let's set this primary rotation and lock it at 90. Let's see if we can get that angle right. Or 89. There we go. So we're running at that angle. What do we want this tertiary rotation to be? Tertiary rotation should be what? 18F? Wrong direction. Negative. Not enough. 25. 45. Too much. 40. Spot on. Yeah, spot on. So if that's at 40, when it's at 90, let's get rid of this piece because that's just going to confuse us right now. So we want to go between 0 and 9, or 0 and 40. It's 45 again. Too much. Way too much. So we want to scale between those two numbers. So that's 40 degrees of rotation and 90. So we can't do quite point half, 0.5. Let's bring up the calculator. Excuse me. 40 times, or divided by 90. So 0.4. 4. 0.44444. Okay, and then let's get rid of this and see what it looks like when it's less than 90. So when this thing is down or straight across. And it's rotating up too soon. So we can't just guesstimate it looks like. That's rotating up too fast. Or this angle's bad. That's the other thing. That angle could be bad. The secondary rotation could be bad. So let's set it at 90. Set it at 45. See how we're looking. So this angle needs to be steeper, or that one needs to be shallower. Looks if I were to swing it down, that'd be about right. Okay, so what is the secondary rotation at right now? So primary rotation is at 180 times 0.25, it's 45 degrees. But it's not, it's going to be like 12 degrees for 0.125. So half of that, 22.5 degrees. Which is just not enough. I need to maintain the distance between that and that throughout the course of this in order for this to work. It's another one of those math problems like I had for the articulated arm on the let's get some sketching paper out. Paint! Yay! Come on, get off the screen. So if I've got, oh gosh, give me a line please. This, and it's centered off of a point that's coming down through vertically like this. So there's an angle here. And then this is to another point. It's there. And that's to another point. That's there. Right? So this point is over this point directly when it's vertical. So when we have a position like this, this line is going to be like this, and the line from the bottom one will be straight down as well. So it'll be just an extended arm. Hello, Exceeding Stew. How are you this morning? So that's going to be a 180-degree angle. This will be a 90-degree angle. This will be a 90-degree angle. I'm assuming it's morning where you are. Maybe it's not. Maybe you're on the opposite side of the world from me and it's late in the evening. Or afternoon or whatever. So right now I'm just trying to figure out how to make this all line up. So if I were to play this, that'd be in locked in position. Right now, it does this. Obviously, this green part here needs to be connected like that. And I can kind of fake it through so far, but then it kind of just gets out of whack. I need to actually figure out the math to do it. So that's why I'm just stewing on this picture here, trying to sort out how it would work. So that's where we're at right now. So this would be a vertical line too. So this is 90, this is 90. That's straight down at 0. So when that one's at 90, this angle and this angle need to be 90, right? What is that angle? Let's say it's 22, that's 22, and that's 22. That's not going to line up. Just need to figure out the rotation angles is all. It should be way simpler than I'm thinking it is. So at this angle, whatever it is, maybe we should start with this angle. And calculate these two. But even then we should be able to do it in reverse. So from here to here, there, up to here even, all we're really doing is extending the distance that this one is from this point. So we really got a triangle that's from there. So this is the vertical beam, this piece. And it's a distance straight down to say there. Okay. So if we can do the distance from here to here, and we can calculate the distance from there to there, we've got one piece of it. Okay. And the distance from there to there, because then that forms a triangle, right? Like this. We know that a triangle is 180. So if we know this angle, these two angles are gonna draw it again. Let's say it's a higher angle. That point there. And then this point. It's gonna be something like that, right? If it wasn't for this beam here, like if this were just directly attached, I could figure it out probably, but it's the double one that's really throwing my brain off. I mean, we can figure out what the angle of that is. We can figure out the distance from that center point to there. That's unknown. We can calculate the distance between the tip of this beam and the center point of this circle, the yellow part circle. We can do that math. Because we know the distance of the arm and the distance of this arm, and we know what the angle that this is going to be at. Oh, I need to go back to trigonometry class and do this again. It's the same thing what I did with the loader, right? Or the excavator arm. I just needed to sort out what the math was going to be. So problem is the 0 point. So when that arm, this arm, is straight down, the other arm's straight down too. And that's really just the distance of this. But as soon as it's like 1 degree, then we need to do the math to figure out what that distance there is. So we'll know the distance of this arm. We'll know the distance of this arm. Okay. We won't necessarily know this angle here, because that's what we're trying to figure out. We won't know the angle here, and we won't know the angle there. No, we won't. But we could sort out what the angle is there. Because we know the angle of the arm itself, the yellow arm, from vertical. And that's going to be 90 in this case. That angle is 90 right now. And we know what this is from vertical. Right there. Because we've rotated it by that much. I think what I need to do instead is change the center point of this beam. Have this beam automatically rotate off of this and just point up. That'll solve a lot of this. So instead of the center point being here, I need the center point of that beam to be here, and we don't reverse the translations of the circular motion. So we get that starting point always connected to this. So that always connected to here. Then we might be able to do the math. So when this is 180, this needs to be straight up, that kind of thing. And then sort out what this beam needs to be. I like that approach better. So let's start with that. I've got another hour or so, no, a couple hours here to do this. So we should be good. So the vertical arm, we need to go edit mode, grab, or straight on up, and that probably wasn't right. So grab straight on up. Like right there. I'm going to save that. We're going to export that. And we're going to restart Minecraft. And go here and start it. And I'm going to get a drink while it's loading up because my voice is going to give out. So while that's loading, we need to not have it jump around on us. And our vertical arm rotation. So we're going to offset one of those rotations somewhere. So there's that primary rotation. So we need to move the vertical arms drawing order up in things, up in the world, up to here. And that's where we need to translate it first. This might be horribly wrong. Why did we pause? Please run. There we go. Okay, so we're translated way too far out there. What happens if we do that? Okay, so we just need to translate it down, which we can handle. So we don't want to move back any. So 0. And we want to go down the distance of that arm. Let's say it's 0.5. Nope, wrong direction. 0.5 negative. Okay, let's try 1. That actually looks decent. Okay. So now that we've got that, this thing's been all jerked around. So we want to untranslate that. So 1. There we go. And now we want to start rotating this piece, the vertical arm. And its rotation is going to be what? So when it's straight down, it's going to be nothing. But when it's vertical, it's going to be 180. So when it's 90, it's going to be 45 or something like that. So it's 0, it's going to be 1 degree. Trichet. And of course we need to rotate back the opposite direction. Afterwards. After we draw it so that it's in the right position. This arm is in the right position. Okay. So we connect it there. Need to increase the rate at which that's going. So let's not deal with this at all. So we're just dealing with between here and here. Needs to be greater. 0.5. Needs to be faster yet. 0.75. It's good until it gets near 90. But that could be because this is going too slow. So we can up the secondary rotation speed back up to 2.5. Didn't quite catch that. I was paying attention to the numbers over here. Okay, so get around to 90, please. That's so close. Like, I don't even, let me look at one of these like in an animation. It's like there has to be some slippage in that thing, I think, in order for that to work in real life. So let me pull up a YouTube video for one of those. Pump jack. Ah! Jeez. YouTube, you scared the crap out of me. It's got some keyboard thing. Pump jack. There we go. Turn sounds off. Okay, so I'm watching a video over my other screen of a pump jack in action. Yeah, so there's like a slippage down at the bottom on this version. Like, I might just have to just change the model to not be 100% accurate or something. I don't know. Again, this one, it's a fixed in down here. And then there's a big pivoting thing at the other end. Will they stop the pump jack? Okay. I want to see the other end of the pump jack, not that end. Like showing the well end, basically. Oh, nice, it's in slow motion. Oh, they're pistons on this one. That's why it didn't look like they were. Show the next one here. What? That's a crazy one. Oh, it's literally the video, the name of the video. Pump jack gone crazy. Okay, so this one, they're very small movements in them, actually. Interesting. So this is like a flywheel type thing, right? It's just the motion of itself, the weights and all that. Huh. So this one, the arm's actually attached above it. There's so many variations of these things. Pump Jack City, Pump Jack Gone Crazy. There's so many videos on YouTube about it too. Like this video I'm watching now, it looks like they're fixed length. They're also attached to the end of the pump jack here. And this whole assembly is back further behind it too. Like that could be part of the problem. Getting really hot in here. What's the temperature in here? It's not bad, 73. It's probably the tired sitting in. My body doesn't know what to do. It's like, no, you're sleepy. Okay, so there's a good close-up of a pump jack in action. Yep, okay. So, right concept for reality. Is it the right concept for what I want to do in Minecraft, or do I want to figure out all the trigonometry to do this? That's really what it boils down to. Alchao, if you're watching and know how to solve this problem, please let me know. So let's get out the... How did I solve the problem before? It's like all in unison. So we've got that part. So we know the length of the two arms. This arm and the green arm. The yellow arm and the green arm. The triangle flips itself upside down, which makes it hard. So right now it forms a triangle there, there, and there. But then when it gets over, it'd be a triangle there, there, and there. If I did that, so if I drew the yellow part first, the green arm here, then this arm, what does that do for me? I would have the green arm here attached to this, and then it's just I need to calculate what the angle here needs to be based on the two other angles here. So this angle becomes the tertiary. It's probably going to end up being like it's going like this on this vertical then. Don't want that because we want this end to be fixed so that this pipe goes down in that block constantly. Same block. So let me see if I can get this green arm, ignore this green arm to always like point to the same spot in space. So when it turns around to 90, so like the top of that block, right? Center top of that block. So first things first, our primary angle is the right number. It's constantly going to be increasing. 0 to 360, 360 to rolls over to 0 again. So that's good. Our secondary angle is really what's going to get us messed up. in this whole deal. So the secondary angle, where's that one at? So that's down here. Let's take this one out, this rotation out right now. Save. So that's locked in space. Which actually kind of helps us, right? Toggle downfall. Toggle downfall. That whole time, it did not snow at all. And now all of a sudden it decides to snow. Christmas. Wintertime. So what we want that is that thing to stay in the center of this block the whole time. Okay, so first things first, let's make it the secondary rotation. Instead of tertiary. So we're going to set this calculation here. And secondary. So in order for that to be straight up, or follow a line straight up, this angle we want it to form a triangle the whole way up. So when it's at 90, we want this one to be at 90 too, so no rotation. That one to be at 0. Let's get out paint again. We're gonna get this sucker if it kills me, and it may, but we'll get it. Can we just do new, please? No, I don't want to save changes. Okay, so okay, here we go. We're gonna form a triangle from here to here, like that. And hello, whoever's watching. So it's technology based. It's based on machinery. It's out now in an alpha. If you're still listening, it's out in an alpha. It's called Techstack's Heavy Machinery mod. The part I'm working on right now is being all derpy because I gotta figure out the math. But you can see we've got other machines in it. So it's about machinery. It's about mining, like in the real world. So my blasted stone here that you can blow up in the world, use my explosives, blow up the stone. It turns it into blasted material. The blasted ores, etc. You can run through a crusher, double your ores, etc. There's conveyors to move items around. We put the trunk bed down here in the truck. There you go. You can dump items in it. It actually picks them up in the world, renders them in the back of the truck, and you dump them out by lifting the truck bed up. Same concept with the loader. It will pick items up unless the bucket's up in the air. Things like that. There's farming. There's a tractor with attachments, so you can have a hoe, a till, a plow, gosh, can't talk today. Things like that. So we know a triangle is going to be 180. We know that this triangle is going to form a straight line on the one side. Like this, basically. We know when this is at 90, this is at 90. So we're going to have a triangle like this. So I know when this one's at 90, it's going to be this kind of triangle. It's going to be a right triangle. Okay, so we can calculate that one. In fact, when it's greater than 90, that's the easiest triangle to calculate. Right? Because it's just a right. It's an acute triangle here. Our vehicle is going to be functional where the final will be compatible with BuildCraft, Ender.io, etc. They are functional. I'm not sure what you mean by compatible with BuildCraft and Ender.io. They are nothing like BuildCraft or Ender.io. BuildCraft and Ender.io use blocks in the world to move items around, to process items, to process ores, etc. I'm mostly using entities, so this is an entity you can drive around in the world. So here, in this mode. So it's a movable thing. It's not a block. My mod is very different from every other mod. You do work with an entity in the world. It puts you back into Minecraft instead of Minecraft playing for you. I played modern Minecraft for a couple years and realized after a while when you get to a certain point in the mod, it's no longer about you doing things. It's about waiting on your quarry to do its next run, right? It's waiting on your UU matter to build up to where you can make your next item. It's not about you going and doing things. They run on their own fuel, so there's their own fuel in the mod. So it's not an RF system. I don't see the point in making a truck run on RF. Oh, no, you're not offending me. I'm just saying, I'm trying to tell you how my mod differs from other ones. I'm not taking offense to what you're saying anyway. So if it's greater than 90, then I need to take, so it's 90 off of it. And that angle needs to be 180 minus 90. Minus 90 divided by 2. Am I right in this or no? Let's find out. Once this thing gets out over here, we should find out. It should start rotating. Okay. Looks like we need to do times -1 because it's flipped or something. Okay. I think we might have the angle right, but we've got to offset it in a way that makes sense. So when it's vertical, it's going to be 0. Or it should be 0. And it's only focused on one quadrant too. So if it's greater than 90 and less than 180. Yep, less than 180. Let's not even set the other one. So it's like that. There we go. So plus 90 or something? Is that what's wrong? Oh, it's almost like it's plus 180. Okay, something's off there. So primary rotation would be 90 minus 90, 91 minus 90. Take 180 for the triangle. Is it 180? How many degrees in a triangle? Is it 360? No, that's 180. Okay. So 180 degrees minus the first angle. So it'd be 90 minus that. It's not a 91 degree angle, it's a 1 degree angle. Or 89 degree angle. So the primary rotation, which is 95, minus 90 would give us 5. Which is not right. We want to do 190 minus that, or 90 minus that, which would give us the 85 degree angle that it actually is if we're looking at it from this perspective. So it's this to this slight angle there. Now we're starting to talk. And then this angle needs to be divided by 2. So, because it's after 180, we need to split that angle across 2 different parts. Divided by 2. Right? $97. 100. Oops, I lost my chat. What's my streaming schedule? Typically weekends, I'm on the East Coast of the United States, so Eastern time zone, very late at night on the weekend, on Friday and Saturday night. It's typically when I try to stream, not necessarily always stream. And sometimes on Saturday and Sunday, I am like all day streaming off and on. Have you on notification, but I want to see this. Cool. Like, I'm not sure how the notifications work with streaming, to be honest with you. I haven't set that up before. If you subbed, yeah, thank you for subbing. Yeah, I have to just like set up another account and sub myself and see what happens. Like, I'm streaming now because I couldn't sleep at night. It's 6:40 in the morning for me. I started like at 3 something. So yeah. So we've got this angle right. It's at 85. So if we know it's a 180 degree triangle, and there's 85 out of it, so that leaves us with what? Let me calculator out real quick to make sure I do the math right. 180 minus 85, this gives us 95. So if each one of those were 45, oops, not divided by 45. What did I do? 95 divided by 2. So each one of those should be 47 and a half. Is that what this is? That's the first thing we need to ask ourselves. So set a breakpoint there. We can watch that value and it's at 0 right now. Let's step into that, and it is at 80. Why would it be at 80? Because we're not doing the divide by 2 thing. Would it be a divide by 2? In this case it would, where it's a right angle, right? But if it's an angle like this, and this, see if we can move that back, the vertical, and this, it's not necessarily right angle. So this angle and this angle should match. This one won't. Right? Let's try another one. So one like this, and then we've got a vertical like this. Hey, Foxy the Fan. Okay. Later. 34th. 1/34. So we're trying to figure out how to calculate these angles for a pump jack. Yes, I am using Eclipse. It's just my preferred ID for Java. Done Minecraft modding enough and different things to just want to use that. I know there's IntelliJ IDE or IDEA or whatever it's called, and I just already know Eclipse and never wanted to take the time to relearn everything. So I didn't. And then this angle needs to be like that. So in this case, this angle is different than that angle. So I still can't do this unless I know one of the sides, which is just annoying. Like, I don't know what the distance from here to here is. I don't have that calculated out, do I? Do I? Probably. What is it? It's down 1. So it's 1 unit in the 3D world I'm working in. So if I know the distance of that arm, I can figure out the rest of it, I guess. That's only going to take care of one quadrant now. I'm going to have to do the same thing for the other side. And the same thing for anything below that. And the same thing for anything over here. They're all going to be different angles because it's a circle. It's not a true triangle, right? We can calculate this angle here. And we know the distance here. So we can use trig to figure out this angle. Trigonometry. No, it's SOHCAHTOA. A way of renumbering how to compute sine, cosine, and tangent of a angle. Yay. Math. The Wikipedia page. Look at that. You're not very helpful, Wikipedia, for at-a-glance answers like I want. Sine equals the opposite over the hypotenuse. Well, we don't well, we don't know the hypotenuse distance yet. We know the opposite. Or no, we know the adjacent angle. What do we know? Excuse me. We don't know the distance from here to here, because that's going to be moving. I really need to fix my chat in like one specific spot so I can see it the whole time. There we go. Let's see, if we cut that angle in half, we got a 90-degree. Somewhere, probably, maybe. Probably not. Cut it through here, we can make it 90. No. Calculator, there we go. Haha. Get out of here, Ad. I don't want you. So degrees. We know the angle is 85 in our example we have here. We don't know the hypotenuse. We know the opposite. We know the opposite and the angle. I think we need to know the distance to the sides for this to work. If I remember right. How to calculate the angle of a triangle. Yeah, we need to know two sides. We've got one. So our only alternative to doing that is to do what? Figure out that other angle. Figure out that other translation point, which is this down here, right? We need to stop monkeying around and just figure that out. So I don't even know what that translation is doing anymore. Let's get rid of it. I don't know what this rotation is doing. Let's get rid of it. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so that's setting us back to where we were before. Let's get rid of this one. And let's get rid of this one. And let's set our angle at 0. So we're straight up and down. Oh. Why you don't like me? Oh, it's a capital. Yeah. Nice, the whole thing crashed. Debug. Okay, so we're back now. Okay, so that's what I want. Okay, so we've got the vertical arm, and then we're drawing, we're not doing any more translates. Yes, we are. Why are we doing more translates? We don't need more translates. Good, so we're drawing that arm centered right on that point. So I need to know the distance of this arm up to where we want it to be. So in order to do that, I need to know how far I need to translate that up to get it up to this point, right? So what is that distance? I'm not going to rotate it forward or back. I'm just going to rotate it up, or translate it up, I mean. Okay, 3 is too tall. 3.3 is too tall. Let's try 2.5. A little too short. 2.75. That looks spot on. Yep, so the distance of this green beam is 2.5. The distance of the yellow is 1, the green is 2.5. So I'm going to write this down somewhere. Green equals 2.5. Yellow equals 1. So if we know those two angles, we have our side and our hypotenuse of our triangle. Get a calculator out here. So if we know one side is 2.5, the other one is 1, and our angle is 85, and degrees units. Okay, so this is saying if we do this, our other angle, our other side I should say, is 2.61. One angle is 85. Wait a minute. Got this all backwards when I put it in here. .85, 1, 2.5, yeah. So if this were over, the yellow part were over here at an angle that was 95 degrees up from the bottom, so it'd be 85 from the top. Then the angle of this green piece needs to be 72.5. And that 72.5 is 2.5 long, and that makes this a 22 degree angle right here between straight up and the green piece, and the distance there would be 2.16. And I think that 2.16 is what's going to give us the biggest headache in the world. Because it's going to change as we rotate this thing out. Game rule. Oh, clear weather. Weather clear 9999999. Okay. I have spent how many hours on this? Going on 3 hours. I could do the math to figure out what this angle needs to be to get it so it's perfectly straight up with this. It's not an issue now. Okay? We know the two numbers of the sides. We can do the sine of whatever it needs to be, right? The sine of the angle. However, it still doesn't solve the problem, because that's only for 90 degrees out up to 180 degrees out on this yellow rotation. And this green bar would need to be fixed at the end of this, and then we need to sort out its angle to get it back down to here, to this point. And the height of this thing is going to change throughout the whole thing. And I can't just say it's 2.5 or the 2.61 that this 90-degree piece is, because it'll be an obtuse triangle at some point, right? So it's not even going to be a triangle. It's going to be a 90-degree triangle plus whatever triangle is down here. And that's what's going to throw me off. I'm not sure I can do this one. I am not advanced enough with the math right at this time to figure out what that needs to be. And that frustrates me extremely. Like, if I know how to solve the problem, I can do the math to figure it out. I don't know how to solve the problem, though. I don't know what it needs to be. Because we're going to have another triangle. So that little yellow part's going to be down, say, like this sometimes. And we need to make a triangle that's from this vertical point down. And then from this point to that point. And I don't know what that's going to be. So let's just, I'm going to throw it out here. Let's say it's a 5-degree angle. We know the one side's going to be 2.5, the other one's going to be 1. I calculate it. And it's saying that the angle's going to be equal to 5. That's going to be unknown. It's saying that distance is 3.495. So 3.5. Okay, so the distance from here to here. No. How? So it's saying that this is 2.5. Yeah, so that's right. And this distance is 1.506. It sounds like this would be wrong to me, but maybe it's not. Oh, been sitting too long. Been sitting too long, and I still have to sit for 8 hours at work. Cool. Hello, whoever's watching. Welcome to the stream where I'm trying to figure out math, basically, at this second. This is not what I sought out to do this initially, but it's kind of where I'm at the moment. So I know a side and an angle. So in order to figure this out, what do I gotta do? Don't show me step by step. Just tell me what the formula is. Gosh, I'm not a 2-year-old. Please, please. Law of sines. Find the smaller of the two angles. Then use 3 angles to add up to 180 to find the last angle. Okay. That's not helpful because I don't know which one's the smaller angle because you're explaining it like a 2-year-old. Triangle calculator. No, that's the exact same thing I just came from. Right triangle calculator. No. Solving for an angle. Thank you for writing it in a way that I understand. So I know this distance and this angle. No, this angle. I'll always know that angle. So I'll know if it's 90. I'll know if it's greater than. Hey, best gamer. Welcome to the stream. You know what? Let's just show off the mod. If you're still here, let's just show off the mod instead. If you're still here, let me know. So we've got loaders, we've got combines, we've got tractors, we've got dump trucks, we've got wide bed trucks, we've got conveyor belts, we've got crushers that basically act like a macerator from industrial craft, somewhat similar. I'm working on those. Those are driving me nuts. There's other things in the mod. Let's get out the fun one. Let's get out the bagger. Bagger is a huge OP item in the game. Or entity in the game. Bam, it's massive, right? It's got this huge bucket wheel on it. And if I put this bucket wheel down and move, we destroy the world beneath us. And it's great fun. That's all there is to it. It's just great fun. Now it moves really slow as far as the forward momentum. It turns kind of normal speed, but and then once I eventually get past the cliff that I'm kind of half hanging off of, I'll drop down and I can dig some more. In a normal world where this bucket wheel can go up and down, you can chew through a mountain pretty quick with this one. Where's my bulldozer at? I might pick that one up. Bulldozer's fun to drive. It's a little bit more, it's definitely more peppy than the bagger is. So if I get in here, look, I'm picking up all the snow. That's hilarious. I can move the bucket up on this, and I can hit this tree and plow, just knock the tree right over, right? And if I go this way and I lower the bucket even more, I'll start digging into the dirt underneath me, and we'll start tunneling down until I get too much dirt above me, so I'll just run flat for a little bit. And that's probably good. I'm going to lower that bucket and pull back. And I'll be digging it, going backwards this time. There we go. Let's raise it up so I don't fall in the hole. Funny. Back down. Okay, now we can dig forward again. So you can see this just makes a really quick work of the world. It'll dig too high in front of it. Lift the bucket up, it'll dig an extra one up. Okay, and down again. And forward again. Thank you for the compliment that I'm smart. However, I don't feel very smart right now because I could not figure the problem out yet, which is kind of why I'm just showing off the mod, because I'm frustrated with it. Probably need to walk away from it and come back to it later, and I will solve it in a few minutes. It's just, I've basically been awake for 6 hours already, and it's 7 o'clock in the morning. So, probably the lack of sleep is not good for me right now. So there I've just made a quick way down into a pit. Let's place down a drilling rig. Bam. Hop in the drilling rig and lower the drilling rig. Cool, thank you, Best. I keep telling people that I'm going for a silly goal of 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. That's 7 days away. So Obviously, that's not going to happen, but hey, if it does, I'm quitting my job on the 1st of January, turning in my 2 weeks' notice, telling them I want to take all my vacation for the rest of the year right up front, and yeah. But we know that won't happen. Unless you tell all your friends, and they tell all their friends, and they tell all their friends, because that whole 6 degrees of separation thing I heard is true. So anyway, so I've drilled a hole in the ground. I've filled it with my ammo explosives. I'm gonna take this thing up here, and what am I thinking? We need a lever. Set this thing off. Watch what this thing does. Kaboom. So here's all my blasted stone. Blasted stone is a cool little addition to the game, where it will tumble down the hillside. So if I were to do something like this, and place a block there, place a block there, it's not gonna let me till I get it up high enough. Eventually, it falls all the way down the hillside. It keeps looking for another step to go down, basically, when you place it. And will continue to do so till it hits the bottom. So the reason for that is we have a loader in the game. So if I can get over to here, I will show you that. So here's the loader. I make a big old pile of this stuff. So pretend I blasted and got a big pile of it. Big pile of it. And the snow blocks are probably messing it up right now. That's funny. So it's actually sitting on a piece of snow. So that's a bug. Thank you, Bess. That's awesome. So the loader here, I'm lowering the bucket down, getting it down to ground level. If I come over to all this blasted stone, I can start picking up the blasted stone with the loader. And it goes in my inventory, and because it kind of tumbles down its own hill, it just kind of slides down the hill and goes right into the bucket over and over and over again. So we can pick all this stuff up, and let me show you, when you do that, anything that gets picked up by this thing gets displayed in its bucket there as a thing rendered in the world. There's some info in it. You can see the info there in the back. And where's my dump truck? All the way over there. So I'm going to drive over to my dump truck, and I'm going to scoop up snow on the way, apparently, because it picks up snow. And let's stop right here, lift my bucket up. I'm going to dump out the items in our inventory. I picked up some of my creative inventory because I have long reach, but look, we've got items in the dump truck now. And they render just like they would in the world, so those conveyors are actually animated. And let's drive this around. Notice the texture and the model's a little bit glitchy. So I lift this up and boom, it can dump them out in the world. So it's a quick way of hauling things around. So you blast your stone, you load it, pick it up with the loader dumps it into the dump truck, and the dump truck can take it off to your conveyor system, which we have in this game. So if we drop items on this, it picks them up and moves them along the conveyor belt, up and over and into the crusher, which the crusher will process those ores. So in addition to making blasted stone, it makes blasted lapis, blasted coal, blasted iron, blasted gold, etc. And each one of those gets doubled, tripled accordingly when they come out of the crusher. So think of it like a macerator from IC2. The wide bed truck here is pretty cool. It doesn't have a texture, that's why it's black. If I swing my bed around over here, oh, gotta lift up the bed here. So there we go. I've got the loader loaded on the back of my truck. I can haul it around the world when I get it to where I want it to be. Let's say I park it here. I hold down control and it dumps it back off in the world. The advantage of doing this versus picking up the entity as an item is it keeps its fuel, and the truck eventually will be faster than all the rest of the machines. So it's a quick way of hauling them around. However, it doesn't haul everything. So for example, I haul the combine because the combine's too big, right? Combine can harvest crops. It's pretty obvious what that one does. There's a tractor somewhere around here that has different attachments that it can go on the back. Each one of these attachments does a different function. So there's a plow, for example. So hop in here, put the plow on the first slot. You'll see that the model for this renders different. You can see the plow on the back of it. If I start driving forward and hold control, I'll start plowing the dirt. And if I get a planter and a bunch of seeds, put the planter on, let's see, it renders in the back of the tractor, and away we go. We've got seeds, and I can back up and plant these things. And finally, there's a sprayer attachment as well. That we could put on the back of this, and sorry for yawning. We must finally be actually getting tired. And we need some bone meal. Bone. Boom. And I back up and hold control again, and bam, it bone meals the plants that we just planted. So, complete farming in it. We actually made this trench with a trencher. This one here. It's just it turned into ice because it's a biome that's freezing. Bulldozer. The bagger. There's also, I can't show it in this world, I have to go to a different world. Thank you, Bess. That's not kind of you. So here's the world where we can show off the sub. So one of my friends wanted a submarine in Minecraft, so I made one. Get in the sub, you have you can breathe as long as you want, even in survival. No problems there. You can see really far because I give you potion effects to allow you to see underwater. Night vision and water breathing both give you, to combine, give you the view like this, basically. Yeah, the sub, you can also go up and down with it and place blocks, even in survival. So it'll be a great way to build on your underwater base, basically. Eventually, I'd like to make it so that you can break blocks like normal, but it's not that way yet. And I'm seeing another one I forgot about completely. Everybody, when I've been streaming before in the past or playing or doing videos, okay, Jason, they wanted an excavator, so I made an excavator. And this is the one that I really need to look at its code because it solved some of the problems I was trying to solve with that pump jack, right? And that is the trigonometry that's needed to calculate the angles of this arm to be able to do this stuff. So I'm looking at a specific block. It's finding the distance from that block and figuring out the two different triangles that are needed to get the angles for both arms, both pieces of the arm, to be able to point to that block. So think of this like having a jackhammer on the back of this, or the end of this excavator arm. And it's just jackhammering away at these blocks, breaking them up. And of course, the tracks move independently of the top part. So that was a fun one to make. Lots and lots of racking my brain on the angles on that thing too. Up here is where the fuel production is. So we've got fermented mash being made from corn, because I've added corn to the game. It gets fermented and pumped into this distiller. These are all 3 separate blocks, by the way. The distiller needs fuel. Once it gets fermented mash and fuel, it will boil it off and turn it into fuel. The fuel pump here will fill fuel cans up. Sorry, I can't talk. And the fuel cans are used to power all the machines, basically. You right-click on them with a fuel can, and then it gives them fuel. If I hop in this one again, you can see up here in the left-hand corner of my screen, there's a fuel gauge. When you're in creative, though, there's no fuel gauge. Oh, that's cool. Go have fun. I've been to Vegas before for work. Didn't go to any casinos or anything. I mean, I stayed in a casino, but I didn't do any of the shows or anything like that. It was all work stuff. So, but yeah. I think right now, I think I need to end the stream, especially if you've got to go anyway. I'm getting a little bit tired, and I've got about 40 minutes for work, so I'm going to take a break, close my eyes for a few minutes, and hopefully when I come back to work on this again, I'll have a clear brain and be able to figure out the problem of these rotations. So yeah, thanks for coming out, everybody. Have a good day. I'll probably be streaming again on the weekends. Later.